Do you often wake up in the middle of the night to use the bathroom, or lie down and suddenly feel that restless, uncomfortable feeling in your legs, or sometimes notice itching all over your body at night without any clear reason? Most people assume these things are simply part of getting older, but kidney specialists say they can also be nighttime signals that your kidneys may be under stress. What surprises many people is that early kidney problems rarely cause pain. Because of that, nearly 90% of people with kidney disease don't even realize they have it. And in many cases, the first signs actually appear while you're asleep. This becomes especially important if you're over 50 or 60 because nearly 1 in 3 adults over the age of 65 may be at risk for kidney problems. Your kidneys are quiet, hardworking organs that operate around the clock. Every single day, they filter about 50 gallons of blood, removing waste, balancing fluids, and helping control blood pressure. But when the kidneys start having difficulty doing their job, the body often sends very subtle signals at night, and many people simply overlook them. In today's video, we're going to talk about 5 nighttime signs that could suggest your kidneys may need more attention. And make sure you watch until the end, because sign number 4 is something we see very often in adults over 60, yet most people assume it's just a normal part of aging. So let's start with the very first sign you shouldn't ignore. Sign 1: waking up to urinate multiple times at night. When it comes to the signals our body sends during the night, there's one sign many of us have experienced but often overlook, and that is waking up several times during the night to use the bathroom. Many older adults simply tell themselves, well, I guess that's just part of getting older. And it's true that our bodies change over time. But sometimes what seems like a small and normal change may actually be a signal worth paying a little more attention to. When the body is healthy, the kidneys follow a very delicate biological rhythm, much like our sleep cycle. At night, while we're resting, the kidneys naturally slow down urine production and make the urine more concentrated. This allows many people to sleep 6 to 8 hours without interruption. However, when the kidneys begin to have difficulty performing their job, this balance can start to shift. Instead of producing a small amount of concentrated urine, the kidneys may produce larger amounts of more diluted urine in order to remove waste from the body. As a result, the bladder fills more quickly, and we may find ourselves waking up several times during the night. If you've recently noticed that you're waking up 2 or more times each night to urinate, especially when your bladder actually feels full, it may simply be a gentle reminder from your body that it's time to pay a little closer attention to your health. Sign 2: restless legs at night. When we talk about kidney health, there's one nighttime sign that many people have experienced, but rarely connect to the kidneys. And that is a restless, uncomfortable feeling in the legs when you're trying to fall asleep. You may have experienced this yourself. After a long day, you finally lie down hoping for a peaceful night's sleep, but your legs just won't stay still. Sometimes it feels like a small twitch, sometimes like something crawling under the skin, or simply an uncomfortable sensation that's hard to describe. The more you try to stay still, the stronger the feeling seems to become, making you want to move your legs constantly or even get up and walk around for a moment. Many people assume this is simply fatigue after a long day, or maybe poor circulation that comes with age. But in some cases, this condition, often known as restless leg syndrome, appears more frequently in people whose kidneys may not be working as efficiently as they once did. One reason is that the kidneys play an important role in balancing certain substances in the body, including iron and various waste products from metabolism. When the kidneys don't filter as effectively, small changes can begin to occur inside the body. These imbalances may sometimes irritate the nerves in the legs, creating that restless, uncomfortable feeling, especially at night when the body is trying to relax. If you've noticed that you often kick off the blankets, move your legs constantly, or even get up and walk around the room in the middle of the night just to feel some relief, it may simply be a signal your body is trying to send. The important thing is not to panic. Instead, it's about paying a little more attention and listening to what your body may be telling you. Sometimes the quiet sensations we feel during the night are simply the body's way of reminding us to care for our health a little earlier. Sign 3: intense itching at night. Sometimes the body sends very quiet signals during the night, and one of the easiest signs to overlook is persistent itching when you're lying in bed. Many people assume it's simply dry skin, especially when the weather changes or as we get older. And in many cases, that can certainly be true. But sometimes this type of itching feels a little different. It may appear across different parts of the body without any clear rash on the skin, and it often becomes more noticeable when you lie down to rest at night. What surprises many people is that in some situations, this sensation can be connected to how the kidneys are functioning. The kidneys don't just filter waste from the blood, they also help maintain the balance of important minerals in the body, including calcium and phosphorus. When the kidneys begin to struggle with this task, phosphorus levels in the blood may slowly rise. Over time, this mineral can combine with calcium and form tiny crystal-like particles in tissues under the skin, which may irritate nerve endings and create that uncomfortable itching sensation. At night, when the body becomes warmer under the blankets and blood flow to the skin slightly increases, the itching can sometimes feel even more intense. Some people even scratch in their sleep without realizing it, only to wake up and notice irritated skin in the morning. One of our viewers, Nancy, a 67-year-old from Arizona, shared that for several months she experienced persistent itching all over her body at night. At first, she believed it was simply dry skin and tried several moisturizers, but the itching didn't improve. During a routine checkup, her doctor suggested looking a little closer at her kidney health. Her story reminds us of something important. Sometimes the small sensations we brush off as normal are simply our body's gentle way of asking us to pay a little more attention to our health. If you're still watching and finding this information helpful, feel free to comment the number 1 below so we know you're here. And now let's continue with sign number 4. Sign 4: nighttime muscle cramps. There's an experience many of us over 60 have had at least once. You're sleeping peacefully and suddenly you wake up in the middle of the night with a sharp, painful cramp in your leg. It can happen without warning. Your calf foot or even your toes suddenly tighten and lock up, sometimes for a few seconds, sometimes for a few minutes. In that moment, many of us have to sit up, rub the muscle, or even get out of bed and walk around until the tension slowly releases. Most people simply assume this is caused by dehydration or just getting older. And sometimes that may be true. But when these nighttime cramps start happening more frequently, the body may be showing us that something deeper is affecting the balance inside. Our kidneys play a very important role in keeping key minerals in balance. Minerals like potassium, magnesium, sodium, and calcium. These minerals act almost like electrical signals that help our nerves and muscles communicate smoothly with each other. When that balance begins to shift, those signals can become slightly disrupted. As a result, muscles may contract suddenly and painfully, especially at night when the body is fully relaxed. So if you've noticed that cramps in your calves, feet, or toes are waking you up more often during the night, it may simply be a small signal your body is sending. There's no need to panic. But when changes like this happen repeatedly, they can sometimes be a gentle reminder that it may be time to pay a little closer attention to our health so we can continue enjoying the years ahead with better rest and more comfortable nights. Sign 5. Insomnia or sleep apnea. There's another nighttime sign that many people rarely connect with kidney health, and that is changes in sleep patterns. As we get older, many of us begin to notice that our sleep just doesn't feel the same as it once did. Maybe the snoring becomes louder. Maybe we wake up several times during the night, or perhaps we feel tired during the day, but strangely restless when it's time to sleep. Most people simply assume this is a normal part of aging, and sometimes it is. But in certain cases, these changes can also be related to how the body manages fluid balance, which is one of the important roles of the kidneys. During the day, because of gravity, some of the fluid in our bodies tends to collect in the legs. But when we lie down at night, that fluid can slowly shift upward toward the neck and upper airway. In some people, this can slightly narrow the airway, which may contribute to louder snoring or brief pauses in breathing during sleep, a condition often associated with sleep apnea. At the same time, when the kidneys are not filtering as efficiently as they once did, certain waste products can gradually build up in the body. These changes may also affect the brain centers that regulate sleep, making it harder to stay asleep or reach deep restorative rest. One of our viewers, Patricia, a 70-year-old from California, shared that she had been waking up many times during the night and often felt exhausted in the morning. After paying closer attention to her health and discussing these symptoms during a routine checkup, she began to better understand the signals her body had been sending. Sometimes a restless night is more than just poor sleep. It may simply be the body's gentle way of reminding us that it's time to pay a little more attention to our health. When it comes to our health, the body rarely shouts for attention. Instead, it often sends quiet signals, especially at night, almost like small warning lights on the dashboard of the body. In today's video, we talked about several signs that many people over 60 may have experienced at some point. It might be waking up several times during the night to urinate, feeling restless in the legs, when trying to sleep, experiencing persistent itching at night, sudden muscle cramps while sleeping, or simply noticing that sleep is becoming lighter and more interrupted than it used to be. Of course, having just one of these signs does not necessarily mean there is a kidney problem. Our bodies naturally change with age, and many symptoms can have different causes. But when these signs appear frequently or begin to happen together, it may be a good moment to pay a little closer attention to our health. Sometimes just two simple tests can give doctors a clearer picture of how the kidneys are doing. One is a blood test called GFR, which helps show how effectively the kidneys are filtering the blood. The other is a urine test that checks for albumin, which can reveal early changes that may not yet be obvious. The good news is that when we recognize these signals early, we often still have many opportunities to take better care of our health in the years ahead. If you found this video helpful, consider subscribing to the Strong Health Way channel, where we continue sharing simple and practical health knowledge designed especially for adults over 60. And always remember, your kidneys are quietly working for you 24 hours a day to protect your body. Sometimes the best thing we can do is simply listen when the body gently tries to get our attention.